Welcome to Ann Knits Slowly. I'm Ann. Today I actually have a couple finished objects, one of which is knitting. So I thought I'd start with that. So if you remember last time, I was knitting on these gloves, and I determined that fit-wise the ribbing was too short. I probably should have knit, a number of rows before I started doing the thumb increases. And I really hate frogging knits where the bulk of the garment is in great shape. It's just the one thing. And because these gloves were knit from the bottom up, it meant unraveling was not really an option. So what I did, if you can see here, if you remember, I just picked up stitches along the, maybe you can see it better from the inside. Yeah, I just picked up stitches along the cast on edge. And then I knit a number, some more of my hair. I knit like 9 garter stitch ridges. And yes, it was very mathy. I determined this by when it looked like I was going to run out of yarn. And then I just did a standard cast off, but instead, here I'm going to have to grab my metric conversion again. But instead of, so I knit them with a 2.75 millimeter needle, which is a US 2. And then I cast off way up to a 4.5 millimeter needle, a US 7, so that it would be loose enough to pull on. Because I do tend to knit tightly, so I really do need to be careful about the loose ends. So there they are, finished. And I thought the garter was kind of fun because it will match the garter beret that I was wearing in the last episode. And they are from the same yarn, and I hope to wear them as a set when my husband and I are going to New York City in December. And, I want access to my fingertips so that I can, do maps on my phone so I can figure out how to get places while my husband is working. And, so I thought fingerless gloves would be great. So the other thing about fingerless gloves that I didn't really realize is they're not the easiest to get off because they've got this lovely snug fit. But anyway, so yeah, here's the beret with the garter, so you can see it makes a nice set, I think. So that is my one finished object, and then so. Last 2 videos, I wore all blue. I wear a lot of yellow and white. I kind of tend to dress monochrome, like white and yellow, all gold, all blues. And I was wanting, I'm wanting to decorate myself more, but I'm not a jewelry person. Like, I wear these turquoise stud earrings, this turquoise ring, my grandma's wedding ring, and that's pretty much it. I don't like necklaces. I feel like they pull on my neck. And so I was thinking of ways to bring more creativity into my outfits. And one of my friends, who is a photographer, always wears a big flower in her hair. And so I thought, maybe I'll try a hair flower. So I made this. Oh, my lighting is a little weird. But it's a hair clip, and there's kind of, you can see the, if I hide my face, will it focus on it? You can see the French knots. But what it is it's just silk ribbon, and it isn't it isn't true ribbon in the fact that it basically is just material that's been cut, because you can see all the frayed edging in here. And but it's wonderful. The everything is naturally dyed, which is a big interest of mine. So the hat and the gloves naturally dyed by Sincere Sheep Yarns in indigo. And this ribbon is also dyed with indigo. And the person I got it from is Cedar Dell Designs. They're on, it's a 100% indigo or 100% silk ribbon dyed with indigo. And then she also had, where are they? These lovely silk embroidery threads. This one was marigold, dyer's chamomile, and then these two are indigo. So and then the fun part is this back fabric I dyed myself, as well as this lighter shade linen. So the fabrics are linen, and then the threads I use to kind of sew down the fabric to make the circle is also dyed with indigo from a company. Now I really like local, like this Cedar Dell Designs. They're located in the West Coast, I think, of the United States. But the thread I got from Threads of Life, which is out of Bali, and they're an amazing organization that tries to help the indigenous peoples' culture of weaving and natural dyeing live on. So they don't modify things for European and American market tastes. They just support them doing their absolute traditional crafts that they have been doing, and they sell them for real money. And then they also started doing where they are supplying craft supplies to others. So this is some of their cotton thread dyed a really beautiful dark indigo. And then I got these 3 shades. Anyway, they're on Instagram, and if you enjoy weaving or if you enjoy natural dyes, their work is really incredible, and they're really working hard throughout all of Indonesia, all the islands, going on expeditions, and they put the money, I love this, they put the money right in the woman's hands. Not the man, the weaver, the woman. And she uses it for her community. So there you go. So anyway, my next knitting project is a small one in my kind of idea about adorning myself with things. I just want more fun, maybe more frivolity. Life right now is, for myself, feels a little uncertain and a little scary, and so sometimes focusing on something that's lighthearted, I think, is really worthwhile. So anyway, I'm gonna wind some yarn thread balls, because this is seriously thread. I usually wind it on I have these leftover spools. I buy organic cotton thread yarn, or thread yarn. I buy organic cotton thread for my sewing, and they come on these beautiful wooden spools, and so I've been using this to wind this on. But the knitting project I want to do, and I have a little sample to show you. So like I said, I don't wear necklaces as a rule, but I really like the idea of something like some kind of necklace having that line. And I used to have a toy business, a knitted toy business called Simply Playing. And they were kind of Waldorf inspired toys. Oh, sorry, I got the itchy nose. Where it was, I used all natural wool. Oh God, and now I'm doing my ear. Whew, and you can tell I'm by myself a lot. Okay, so my toy business was knitted toys, knit out of, was it Lamb's Pride yarn that I bought from a woman in Georgia who naturally dyed it for me. And then I knit kitties, bunnies, a lot of gnomes. I did a pattern, which you can find on Ravelry for free, for a very large parent gnome. And then there's like a sling for like a little baby gnome. And then there's a little miniature kid gnome. And I knit them all out of wool, and I stuffed them with wool. They were naturally dyed. They were lovely. Did my son play with any of these things? No, not really. He was a little too old by the time I got into this. He was more around 6 or so, and he was a go-go kid. He was not a, let's sit and have a sweet little imaginary playtime. But I also then started knitting some things for babies. And this long thing to tell you that one of the things I used to do for babies was I would get these hard maple, I think it's called rock maple, rings. And then I would knit like a link chain off of that in rainbow colors. So it would be like, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Anyway, so I thought about knitting a chain necklace for myself. It would be really light, so it wouldn't pull on my neck. So anyway, I thought I would just do like I did this toy. Let's see if I did this. Does it focus? I see people do this. I don't have a fancy camera. I'm just using it with my phone. So basically, it's just an I-cord. Let's see if I can get the light there. It's the back. And I thought it would be fun with these colors, right? To go kind of dark to light and have it be like many links of dark, many links of the medium shade, and then links of the light. And so I did this little sample. I just used thread that was my arm length, which is a little more than a yard. And it's not enough. So that takes us back to wanting to wind some yarn. So, or thread in this case. And I did have to, I used 6 threads to make it thick enough. And then I'm knitting it on, let's see, what are you guys? I'm knitting it on 2.25 millimeter US size 1 needles. So pretty tiny. I wanted it to be kind of fine gauge, like jewelry, right? I didn't want like a big chunky yarn necklace. I want some fiber jewelry, some fine art fiber jewelry. Yeah. It's really pretty. I spend a lot of time looking at my knits in progress going, oh, I like you. You're looking good today. All right, so now is the task of finding the end. Okay, whoops, I found the end. That's pretty good progress for right away. But we do seem to have some shenanigans of thread. Oh boy. And so, like I was telling you in my other video, I don't use a Swift. Probably would be useful for this, but I like the quiet. I like to sit and sit and work on stuff. Wow, this just really doesn't want to come off easily. It's got a whole bunch of twists. So I'm still working on my sweater. If you watched the first video, well, here, I've got a swatch of it. I'm still working on this sweater. So nice and soft. The alpaca is really lovely, and the Leicester long wool. I mean, I know you can't see it, but it just has such gorgeous sheen, such shine. Looks almost like silk to me. It's really beautiful. I mean, it's always interesting when you learn. The more you learn about breed-specific sheep, like how they all have their wonderful traits that that make them special. You know, like Leicester long wool is. Jeez Louise, I gotta see if I can find the other end. This end does not seem to want to work. Maybe this isn't a good thing to do while talking. So what are you working on? I did see I've got some more views that are not just my husband and my friends, so that's nice. Yeah. Maybe I should just knit. Maybe I should just knit instead of trying to circumnavigate. Although I'm getting a little better. Okay, now we're starting to go. Maybe it's just that I had it on the wrong side. Yep, here we go. All right. So let's see. I think I will just wrap it around this spool instead of making a center pole ball like I normally would, because it's just so fine. I think it would just tangle in on itself. So we'll just wind it on this spool. I love that there are more options in sewing now for threads. Like when I was growing up in the 70s, my mom did a lot of sewing. She did all of our Halloween costumes. She did all of my many dance costumes. I loved to dance. And she had a lot of cotton thread, but that has changed, and most thread now is plastic. They give it lots of other names, but essentially it's plastic. And I don't know about you, but I'm on a mission that my wardrobe, when I'm gone, could be buried in the backyard and disappear. Go back to whence it came. Now, granted, anything I have that I bought ready to wear, like this sweater, even though it's cotton, was seamed and was most likely seamed with a polyester thread. Same with the shirt. But the pants I'm wearing, I suppose I shouldn't say pants. If you're from Europe, or from England, that means something else. The trousers I'm wearing are 100% cotton. The only thing in them that will not biodegrade is the elastic waist and elastic hems. But those could be taken out, and then the rest of the pants could be, made into scrap. Oh boy. I got a knot. I got a bad knot. Oh. Could be made into scrap, for cleaning, or it could be buried. So anyway, I'm kind of like that with my knitting too. I do not knit with any synthetic fibers, with the exception of some sock yarn that I have. But I only have, I think I only have one skein of that. I'm looking for, I'll show you. I bought this at Fiberfest in Hopkins from Prairie Plum Farm Yarn. And it's, here's the label. And there's the sheep that it's from. Isn't that just delightful? Or one of the sheep, I should, or no, it is the sheep. She is a Finn sheep that was crossed with a baby doll Southdown. And Finn sheep are wonderful. That's what I learned to knit on, or not knit on, learn how to spin yarn with. And then Southdown is great. It's a downy wool. It's a kind of a shorter fiber, but it's really cushy. It doesn't like to felt, and it's really soft. And then she added mohair, which she has on here, Nature's Nylon, which is true. Mohair is really durable. So this is a new to me sock yarn. It's only 2-ply, which I'm a little disappointed in. A 3-ply yarn is better for socks because it's rounder. Because with a 2-ply yarn, you've got kind of just the plies, and it makes a very flat yarn, and so it's easy. It's more easily worn. But this could just be something like, to get the fingering weight that they wanted, they had to use less plies, is my guess. But I'm excited to try this because it would be lovely to have socks that could be composted when their life is over. I do have most of my socks are Maggie's organic socks. I'm very simple. It's like I've got cream, I got natural color, I got navy blue, and I have some brown. And I went through a big wool sock phase, and I had a lot of wool socks. Wore through a lot of wool socks. And they were all kind of like crazy colors that did not go with my wardrobe, and that dissidence between the socks and like my outfit I found frustrating. It's a weird way to put it, but it just didn't go. Like the colors that were fun to knit with, like the self-striping stuff. I mean, it is so much fun. It's like, ooh, I'm getting to the blue section. Ooh, now it's red. Ooh, this is this. But yeah, so I do a lot of all or nothing in my life. So it was like all wool socks. Then I switched to all cotton socks, and now I'm realizing that I need a little bit of both. So then I also bought at Fall Fiberfest this yarn from Knitty Vet. Let's see if you can get out of the picture. Nope. Anyway, this one was dyed with walnut leaves, and it is a beautiful gold. And it is, let's see, what does she say? She says it's 100% USA wool blend. So actually, if you're looking for a durable wool yarn, besides like breed-specific yarn like Icelandic or Leicester long wool, or some of those that that are really, the real long wools that make really hardy sweaters and stuff, getting something that just says wool, meaning it's just kind of sheep from everywhere, they're throwing all the wool into one thing and that's really durable. So while this does not have any mohair or anything, it is just 100% wool. I thought I'd make striped socks. Isn't that cute? I thought they'd be cute together. I would trying to see like how many yards this has. Yeah, because this is okay, 50 grams, 350 yards, and this is about 350 yards, and that probably, each of these alone probably would make a pair of socks, but I don't know, I just thought the idea of stripes sounded fun, so maybe I'll just make 2 pair of striped socks. So there you go. You've pretty much now seen, except for the fiber I bought, you pretty much have seen everything I bought from Fiberfest. I need to dig out my spinning wheel. I so when I said like I have trouble with all or nothing thinking, so I used to spin yarn. I had my dream wheel, which was a Lendrum, and it just was not the right time in my life. It was still when I was homeschooling my son, and he just needed a lot of attention. And I found spinning a hard, unlike knitting, where I felt like you could like pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. I would get into the groove with spinning, and then I would need to stop, and then I would have a hard time getting in the groove again, and it made really inconsistent kind of yarn. So then I didn't do any spinning for a while, and then felt guilty about having this object, again, small home, hanging out in our home that I wasn't using, that cost a lot of money, that I knew I could sell for basically what I bought it for. And so I did sell it. And then last winter I was wanting to get into spinning again, because I have my good friend in Iowa, she was learning how to spin, and I was like, oh gosh, that sounds like so much fun. I remember doing that. That would be great. But I don't really have the money for a spinning wheel. I had, spent my money on other things. I hadn't planned for that. And then my friend out in Washington State said, I have a spinning wheel. It's been sitting around since I was a young kid. Would you like it? And I said, sure. So it's an Ashford Traveler. It's a single treadle, which I'm a little curious how that's going to go, because I did like the double treadle, because it it's like you're walking. It's real, that little motion. It's really easy. Single treadle, I feel like I'm going to have to think a little bit more about. Oh, this is coming apart. So I'm getting there. And yeah, so I got it. It was gorgeous. I cleaned it. I oiled it because it had been sitting for quite a while, and then ordered the parts that were needed for it, and then nothing. So I bought some fiber to tempt myself to start spinning again. Do any of you spin? If so, what kind of wheel do you use? I'm really kind of interested in e-spinners, because they take up a lot less space. I could kind of sit and do it anywhere. And my husband, who is a tech guy, is thinking about getting a 3D printer. And I was, when I was at Fall Fiber Fest, wow, that's a hard one for me to say. Fall Fiber Fest. I love alliteration, but that one's tough for me. Anyway, one of the vendors had her own e-spinner from a company called Daedalus, and it was cool, and it was a lot less expensive than, like, I think it's Hanson, I think, is the one that's kind of famous for the e-spinners. So yeah, e-spinners, life is changing. But, it'd be a lot easier to take it with you places. I'm not so fond of the fact that it's made out of plastic. Just from a sustainability thing, but maybe it's made out of recycled plastic, because I know see what's happening here. We're getting a little bit of a rat's nest. Like I said, it's really thread, and so it's wanting to tangle because it's thread. So yeah, I mean, maybe the plastic that they 3D print them with is from recycled plastic. Now that would be awesome. Yeah. So I'd be interested in trying an e-spinner, because then I could sit in my chair, and I could have it right here on my desk, and I could be spinning away. Because the one thing I did notice with a regular spinning wheel is that, like, you need to find a chair that's the right height, you need to, it's a little fussier. Oh my gosh, I have made a web for myself. Not a pretty web either. So yeah, so I'm curious about trying out an e-spinner. I don't know if I have too much more for you guys today. I'm trying to see kind of what the time is. It's a little bit shorter video. Opie has passed out this video, my dog Opie, so he is not not engaging and wanting to go on walkies. It was raining here this morning, and so he's kind of, I think, just given up on the day. Yeah. So I think I will leave you today to deal with my rat's nest, but I just wanted to pop in, give you a warm hello, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope you are finding time for the beautiful things and making of the beautiful things, because I think making beautiful things with your own two hands is one of the best things you can do for your mental health. So be well and take care. Bye-bye.